Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going through some of my fall reads slash September mostly, since it's October currently. It is autumn, and I just wanted to share with you some of the books I've read so far slash what I'm currently reading. And before we do that, I'm actually going to plug myself. Sorry, I know this kind of stuff's annoying, but not only do I read, I also write. And so, since it's spooky season, I figured you guys might like these. This is my short story collection, Cursed Images. This is a scary story collection about like the early toys and tech of the early 2000s, basically. Hence the giant computer, the giant Apple computer on the front of this page. There's short stories about Tamagotchis, Furbies, Webkins, CDs, all this kind of good stuff that you remember from the early 2000s. This was basically a passion project for me. This was when I was feeling really, really nostalgic, and it happens to be my bestseller compared to like my work so far. So if you're interested on picking this up for Halloween, you'll probably like it. Nothing too intense in this. There is like obviously like horror, so there's going to be like death and stuff. But nothing too graphic, I think. But again, that's just my opinion. So if you are interested in this, feel free to pick it up. It's on Amazon. I can also put my website in here. My website's just my name, www.cassidyvangundy.com. But yeah, this is on there. In addition to Cursed Images, we have Cursed Fate. Now, I know the titles are similar, but the content is not. That just happened to be a coincidence. This is a dark fantasy story. She's a thick girl. My first book ever, Cursed Fate. My husband picked out the title, actually. This is a dark fantasy story that is based off of the flora and fauna of Madagascar. I just thought it was really inspiring, the biodiversity of the island, and yeah, so I wanted to include that in a fantasy world type setting. This follows main character Vincent as he tries to search for his dad slash his lost lineage, and finds out that he is connected to another world of powerful people with a rich cultural history and magic and monsters and such. So yeah, I really recommend this if you like traditional fantasy stories slash found family. This is big, especially more so the sequel. The sequel comes out, it's called Wicked Breed. It's coming out in November. But this is more of someone searching for their family, and book 2 is going to be heavy found family themes. But if you kind of like Avatar The Last Airbender type stuff with elemental magic slash like people coming to terms with their trauma, you'll probably like this. So this is also, again, not scary, but it's dark fantasy. So what I mean by that is malevolent magic and like morally gray characters and stuff. So yes, so again, you can get this now just in time before the sequel comes out, and start on this before Wicked Breed comes out if you want to. Okay, sorry if you heard any background noise. My husband also works from home, so sometimes it makes life a little bit difficult, especially when he is in constant meetings. Hence why I film in the sunroom as opposed to my office lately. I also have to get, like, since we moved, my lighting stand like broke that holds my phone. So I need to get a new one of those. And once I have that, I think it'll be better to film in the office, and I'll probably film that like outside of normal work hours. And then like if I'm filming during work hours in the morning, I'll be here. But like, you guys don't need to know that. Sorry. I'm just like talking, I guess. So yeah, enough of the plug. Let's get into what I read in September versus what I'm reading right now in October. So the first book I read in September is actually Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. So this is a story that is about a young woman getting invited to a family wedding. A young woman ran away from home, right? She's from a very religious community. She gets invited to a family wedding and has to confront the people of her past. I'm not going to give spoilers to this because there's like a plot twist, which is like a big part of the plot. So, I'm not going to say that. But, this one, I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Truthfully, it was like pretty good. I thought the main character was snarky and funny. I like the idea of this story. Was it a little predictable? Yeah, like I kind of caught what was going to happen within the first couple of chapters. So like not that that indicates bad writing, it's just disappointing for me because I feel like I like books that keep me guessing, and this wasn't necessarily that, but it, you know, other than that, it was a good story. I read it very quickly in a couple of days, so I really enjoyed it. But it's more of like a kind of straightforward read. So if you're looking for something like that for Halloween, especially like if you want something scary, but that's not like too scary, um, I don't know if I would qualify this as horror. I found this in the fiction section of my bookstore, but truthfully, my local bookstore now that I moved doesn't really have a dedicated horror section, so it's very hard to find scary books. But I saw this one circulating on Instagram, and I decided to pick it up because the cover is pink, and I like pink. Yeah. Plus, I'm also like I have a Catholic background, so and I am not really a practicing Catholic anymore, so that premise was kind of what drew me into this in the first place. Um, so yeah, if you want Black Sheep, pretty good. Okay, so I don't have a physical copy of this book. I actually read it on my Kindle, but I'll put the cover up here. The second book I read was actually for a book club. I'm a local book club at the local bookstore. It's literally me and a bunch of older people and this other guy named Douglas, which was funny because my husband's name is Douglas, so I thought that was funny. But anyway, so we read last month Sola by Toni Morrison. Let me just say, like, I love Toni Morrison. I read The Bluest Eye in high school, and yeah, it was like required high school reading. So judge me all you want, but I love, love, love that story. It is a lot. So, if you are somebody who's sensitive to certain things like SA, you might not want to read that book. But the thing about Toni Morrison is just she writes so fucking beautifully, even about the grossest shit. um, she's not a horror writer. Like, she's very well versed in fiction, and she's a staple in American culture. Like, if you want to learn more about American writing, I cannot recommend her enough. She's one of my favorite authors, and it's a huge inspiration to me. Her writing, I told my book club, her writing is basically like if poetry spit on you, that's what it is. Because her use of language is just so beautiful. But like she really writes more about like reflecting on the Black experience in America, and I think the most of her books take place in Ohio or the Midwest, but they also reference like stuff in the South too. But from what I understand, most of the towns in her books take place around there. I'm from Indiana. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if they just push in the Midwest or what. I don't know if that was required reading in your school. Let me know. But I've read The Bluest Eye. Now I've read Sula, and I loved this book. I absolutely adored it. I also have Jazz on my shelf back there. That's like on my TBR pile, and that's the next one I want to read. But this story is just about these girls growing up in this very gentrified, not gentrified, segregated type town, and it's about them, but it's also about how they interact with their environment in the town, and like, oh, okay, so Scylla is more of a wild child. I'm not gonna tell you everything that happens in this book. There are like murders that go on. So again, I feel like this could be classified as a spooky season book, even though it's not like traditional horror and it's fiction. But there's some murders that go on. It's a little trippy. So there's that, but it's also like this intergenerational, like they're two different families, right? Sula and her best friend, and they come from very different environments. One is like a family that is trying to do the straight and narrow and, you know, get married, have a traditional family structure, and thinking that goodness is the way to greatness, I guess, or goodness is the way to success, right? So they don't rock the boat. They just keep going and pushing and constantly do the right thing. Whereas Sula's family has experiences of kind of being like not really ostracized from the community, not until Sula herself, but they do what they need to survive, basically. And these are women who are known for having affairs like with everybody in the town, and they just kind of continue on that cycle, but they have they have the money to afford a home and take care of other people in their community, kind of downtrodden folks in their community. But it's also just like the promiscuousness of it. And so you are meant to view these characters as foil characters and like as a reflection about like how these black women are meant to operate not only in a larger society with like white folks and everything else, but also in this microcosm of their own community. It I loved it. I love it. I love it. I can't recommend Toni Morrison enough. I think everybody should read Toni Morrison. So yeah, that's what we read for book club, and I highly recommend Sula if you're. I can't sing its praises enough. I love this book. I really really do. So if you want to check it out, please do. In terms of what I'm currently reading now, so I started this anthology. I picked this up at the bookstore at the same time as Black Sheep, and it's called Never Whistle at Night. This is actually an anthology, so it's not one author, but many authors who are all of indigenous descent, and it is a scary horror anthology all around like native authors and like folklore and some of their experiences. I am there's like I'm on page 120, and I think there's like close to 400 pages in here, so I'm like a third of the way through. There's definitely some stories that have stood out to me more than others, but again, that's just what happens. But there's a great selection of authors in here. There's actually a foreword. Yeah, the foreword is by Stephen Graham Jones, and he is the person who wrote, oh my goodness, My Heart is a Chainsaw. I haven't read that one, but that's on my list. And what the hell? Wait. Yeah. He also wrote this book that I read, I think last year, called The Only Good Indians. I picked this up while we were in Boston. It was a pretty good book. I really enjoyed reading it. But yeah, he did the forward of this. So because I read his book, I picked this up too. But yeah, I just want to pick this up because I am somebody who always is like trying to diversify my bookshelf, and I think the cover was beautiful, so that that also helped. But I've been trying to read more stories by Indigenous folks and Native folks, especially since they're super underrepresented in like traditional publishing. So yeah, if you want to pick this up, you really should. I've been enjoying it so far. So yeah. And the last read is also for book club, and it's on Kindle, and I haven't started it yet, so maybe this isn't the video to put it in. But you know, I've seen the movie. Don't hate me, but I've seen the movie. So I kind of know, but not really. So I'm actually reading The Woman in Black. The movie I watched is that one with Daniel Radcliffe. But that's what the group decided to pick for October. I don't think it's more of a classic fiction group, and what they define as classic, I think, is like anything that's been published like, I don't know, before the 2000s, I guess. I don't know. Like, no shade. They voted on this before I joined. So, that's what they picked for October. I think they wanted to get into like the spooky vibes. And I don't know. I'll let you guys know what I think of the writing itself. The story, I remember I liked the movie. I think it felt more gothic-y, like isolated house in the British Isles type thing. But you know, I'll let you guys know when I'm done reading. I'll make another video about this maybe like at the end, like maybe more towards November, like a part 2 to autumn reads or something. And I'll let you guys know how I feel about that later. But like, I have to read it before the 16th, so I gotta get going on that. But yeah. Okay, so those are my spooky ooky reads for fall slash autumn. Truthfully, I should be reading more than I am. I've kind of been hesitating on that. I've been hesitating a lot of fall activities, honestly. I haven't even had the pumpkin and ghost cookies from Pillsbury yet. Like, what am I doing? We got our Halloween decorations put up like last Friday. So, we're a little behind, I guess. But like, October is still a big month. Like, it's still early. It's still, you know, I got time. But I think that next October activity I'm going to do is walk around the neighborhood with Douglas and check out everybody else's Halloween decorations, because last time I was driving around, I saw somebody who made handmade aliens and UFOs and put them on the roof and the ground, and these weren't like small aliens, they were at least like 3 feet, 4 feet tall. So I was very, very impressed, and I was like, oh damn. So we're gonna go walk around and see everybody else's Halloween decorations, because now the neighborhood's starting to get them set up, and it's really spooky, and I'm so excited for that. I might do, maybe I'll make that into a vlog. I don't know. Let me know if you'd be interested in that in the comments down below. Because I love watching people's fall vlogs and like fall cozy activities. Like I can't get enough of it. Um, so yeah. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Also, feel free to check out my books. That is probably the best way to help me out as an author slash content creator. I work really hard on these. This is like my calling in life. Like, I kid you not, I want to write. This is what I'm meant to be doing in this life. I have no doubts about that. But sometimes income is inconsistent, so that is a downside to being a creative. So if you want to support me in any way possible, picking up my books and posting about them, you know, reading them, donating them to libraries, whatever, is the best way to help me out. And I really appreciate all of you, like, for even thinking about doing that, you know. But yeah, that's all from me. Until next time, thanks. Bye.